Afternoon, everybody. Hello to all of you within Sutton District and potentially beyond joining us today live or on the recording on YouTube for our Renewal of Promise. And I'm Matthew Hewitt, the District Commissioner for Sutton. Just thinking back to last St George's Day when we did an online promise renewal for the first time, I don't think any of us thought that 12 months later we'd be doing exactly the same thing again. But I think as we stand here today, we're in a much better position than we were 12 months ago. We're starting to see some face-to-face scouting returning. We're starting to see some light at the end of the tunnel. So I'm really excited that hopefully we'll be able to actually meet face-to-face again soon. Now, for this afternoon's promise renewal, we thought we'd do it slightly differently to how we did it last year. And you'll be glad to know, I'm sure, that you're going to be spared some of me talking. So this year, I'm really proud and pleased to say that we've got Steve Judge is going to address us all for a few minutes. Now, I met Steve at Cub Jam in 2017, and he came and gave an absolutely inspirational talk to the 40 Cubs we had there one evening. So just to introduce Steve, at the age of 28, a devastating car accident left Steve fighting for his life, and following life-saving operations, he was told he may never walk again. But Steve didn't allow that to get him down. He turned his excuses into challenges, and he's now an established author and has set up and runs his own business as a resilience coach. He also went to the Paralympics and won medals at the Paralympics. So he's a hugely inspirational man, and I'm sure will talk to us very persuasively and inspiringly. And as a professional speaker, he has received numerous awards. His ongoing mission is to help people, inspire others, and motivate many. And he's always looking for opportunities to do this. Steve's also been active within Scouting. He's been a Cub leader and is currently president of Derbyshire Scouts. So it's my very proud honour, really, to introduce Steve to talk to us this afternoon.
Hi, and thank you very much. Thank you very much for the introduction. What a very long-winded introduction. I seem to have done a lot in my life, which is great. But thank you very much, DC, and I will take it from here. So you did introduce me, and that's why I've not got a neck on at the moment, because I wasn't quite sure which one to wear. So yes, I am a Cub leader. So this is my Cub leader necker from 6th Eckington Scout in Derbyshire. So I'll put this one on first, just to signify that I'm a Cub leader. I am also, as you mentioned, president of Derbyshire Scouts. So we have a nice red necker for that. So I thought I'll put that one on as well. So president, that's nice. And then also I have this very special one, which I got given to me. It says in here 2016, Cub Jam 2016. So this is when I came across Sutton Scouts and I did a little presentation. So hopefully I saw some of you guys there. So I've got this one as well. So a friend of Sutton Scouts. So great stuff. So I've got 3 neckers on. I'm very nice, warm and cozy. So enough about me. How about you? How's everybody there? So I'm talking to everybody. I'm talking to Beavers, Cubs, Scouts, Explorers, Network, if there are any networks, and obviously the leaders and the volunteers and everybody. So I've got a big question that I want to ask you. And that question is, what boat are you in? There you go. What boat are you in? Now, I'm going to expand on that a little bit because it's quite a strange question in a way, isn't it, really? So what boat are you in? If you imagine this situation that we've been in over the last year, the storm, shall we call it, of the pandemic, the COVID-19, the lockdown and everything, that's a storm with the black clouds. We imagine us in an ocean and we are all in very, very different boats. So what boat would you say that you're in? I've got a picture here. This is one that I did during the pandemic. So if you can see your screens, you can have a look at that. So on this picture, you can see the storm, obviously, and then you've got the boats. You've got nice like a rowing boat, a little rowing boat. So maybe that's your situation. I'm talking about your home life, your personal life, maybe your scouting life, as we might call it. You've got some sailboats. Some have got small sails and some have got big sails. Or would you say that you're quite comfortable in the situation that you're in, and maybe you're in an ocean liner and you're just cruising through the storm? So which boat would you say that you're in? Now, if you're in the sailing boats, maybe you're having to adjust your sails for the winds. You're having to make changes. You're having to adapt and adopt so that you can get through the storm. If you're in the rowing boat, maybe you're rowing with all your might and there's nobody else there to help you. Maybe on the sailing boats, there's a bit of a crew. Maybe on the ocean liner, there's loads of you. Maybe you're a big family or a big group. something like that. And maybe this is you. Maybe you feel that you're actually drowning, or that you have been in the past, or maybe you know some people that have been. So again, I want you to think about what boat you're in, because that kind of makes a big difference. Because I believe that we are all in the same storm, but we're all in very different boats. And let me give you an example. For example, last year, I'm a motivational speaker, so speaking gigs were very hard to find, as you can imagine, last year. So last year, I was working really hard on my business, and I looked out of my window and I could see that my neighbour, who'd been furloughed, so I knew he was getting paid, but he was off work. He was sunbathing. So he was sunbathing but getting paid, and I was like, wow, that's not fair. I felt really, almost angry, really frustrated that somebody was getting paid to be at home sunbathing. There's me working really hard. But the thing is that I shouldn't compare to other people. I learned this a long time ago, but everybody talks about this back to normal, or we're going to get back to normal, normality, and things like that. The thing is, nobody really knows what that means for yourself or for other people. For my neighbour, I don't know, maybe that was just his respite. Maybe he was having a really hard time inside the house, stuck inside all the people that he didn't have a choice over. Maybe his family or whoever he was with. Maybe he just managed to grab 5 minutes to get outside and have a bit of a rest. I don't know. I don't know the situation. But it still just signified that you can't compare yourself to other people, that there is no such thing as normal. Now, like I said, I learned this a long time ago, probably about 20 years ago. Like was mentioned in the introduction, I had a near fatal car accident in 2002 where my car skidded and I got both of my legs crushed. Now, I got mercy dashed to the nearest hospital, and on arrival, they looked at my legs and they did the best they could during the operation at saving both my legs. But when I woke up after the operation, after an 8-hour operation, they did come over to my hospital bed and they said, Mr. Judge, I'm afraid that although we've saved your legs, there's a strong possibility that you may never walk again. Now, when you hear words like that, it's very much a fight or flight, and I think I could have just rolled over in bed and just given in. But the opposite was the anger. I felt real anger. And that was the fight, I guess. Just looking up at the surgeon thinking, I will do this. I will pull myself out of this. I will set goals and work towards them. That's something I've always done. Where have I got that from? From scouting. Like it was mentioned, I've always been in Cubs and Scouts and Explorers, although it was called Venture Scouts back then. I got all the way up to the dizzy heights of getting my Queen Scout Award, which I proudly wear on my shirt here. If you can see that. So I've got my Queen Scout Award, and how have I done that? By setting goals and working towards them, whether it's badges on my arm or whether it's in life or business or anything. So in my rehabilitation, you can imagine my physio was very much about setting goals and working towards them. My big goal, my overall goal at that stage was to get back to normal. That's all I wanted. I wanted to get out of hospital. I wanted to stand again. I wanted to walk again, and I wanted to move forward and get back to normal. I was sick and tired of people asking me how I was, how my legs were, how am I feeling. I just wanted to blend into society. I wanted to be normal again. Now, that took a long time, a lot of physio, a lot of rehabilitation. I remember one time I had 21 different exercises to do, but I was working through them bit by bit, pushing myself, working towards those goals. A year and a half later, I was able to stand again. I was able to walk again. I'd had to grow my bone back. I had to grow my leg by about 4 inches and stretch it out. The thing was, I was standing again and I was walking again. Job done. But it wasn't, because I was very different to what I was before the accident. My legs, although they'd fixed them, and although I'd done a lot of rehabilitation, my left leg, I had lack of feeling, lack of movement, a drop foot on my left leg. My right leg was the right length, but I had no calf muscle. I had lack of sensitivity, and I had so much pain in my ankle every time I stood or walked or anything. I realised that I was very different to what I was before the accident. I realised at that stage that there was no such thing as normal. And this is a message that I want to share with other people. The next time you think about where you are or who you're with, you've got to realise that there's no such thing as normal. So don't compare yourself to other people, to your friends, to your family, to celebrities. Everybody's different. You've got to realise what you can do rather than what you can't do. That's what I had to do. I couldn't run anymore, but I could swim, so I swam. I could get on a bike, so I cycled. Again, I thought about what I could do rather than what I couldn't do. And so I started setting goals, personal goals, physical goals, and pushing myself. And people used to say to me, Steve, you're always pushing yourself. Have you always been like this? And I used to think back and think, well, not really, not in my work or not at school, but in scouting. Definitely in scouting, with the badges. I love those badges, getting them down the arm. So I'd be the Cub Scout that would take the badge book home. I guess nowadays you go surf the internet and look online about what badges I wanted next. And then when I found a badge that I really wanted, I'd go and ask for help from my mum or my dad, or the scout leader, of course. And I didn't realise then, but I was setting a foundation of setting goals and working towards them. And so that's what I did. And I eventually came across this sport called power triathlon. Triathlon, swimming, cycling and running for disabled people. I got registered, I was disabled, and I could compete. Now, to cut a long story short, I competed in the British Championships in swimming, cycling and running. I did manage to run again because I set that as a goal and I managed to achieve it. And I became British champion. And from there, I got opportunities. Steve, would you like to represent Great Britain? I was like, yeah, I definitely would love to represent Great Britain. And I grabbed that opportunity with both hands. Again, something I got from scouting. How many opportunities do you get in scouting? Again, all those different badges that you can get down your arm. Every single one of those is an opportunity for you to grab. So I grabbed this opportunity. I represented Great Britain in the European Championships and I won. I set my goal to become world champion and I worked towards it. In 2011, entering the arena, competing against athletes around the world in the swim, in the bike and the run, running as fast as I could, looking behind me at what I was leaving. I was leaving the accident, the pain, the anguish from that, but I was running towards the finish line, my goal, my opportunity, my love, my desire. When I crossed the finish line, I got my best badge ever, which is the gold medal of Beijing 2011. So proud of this. In fact, I'll put this on with all my neckers as well. I think it sits nicely with the neckers because it's very much scouting. So to become a world champion, which is absolutely incredible. But where does that bring us here right now? I want to talk about being normal, about there is no such thing as normal. So let's bring it back to scouting. So how has everybody been? When we talk about the same storm, different boat, where has everybody been over the last year with scouting? Now, I know some groups have struggled to do online. Some groups have struggled with money and funding. For me, we've done as much as we could. I definitely don't lean on my excuses. So as soon as we went into lockdown, we started doing Zooms. We did lots of activities. We did a lot of cooking. Now, I've seen some of the photos just as I was waiting to come on. So it looks like you did a lot of cooking as well. Some of those cakes were very good. And I saw one of you did a, table football with little jelly babies. That looked really cool. So we did lots of activities like that. We did cake in a mug. We did this thing called the poo quiz. I don't know if you came across that. It was disgusting, but the kids loved it. So it's all about the kids. So there's lots of things that we're doing. We're always thinking about what we could do rather than what we couldn't do. Now we have gone back to face-to-face. We've only done one session so far. That was last Monday, and it was great. We did a fire, we had marshmallows, we had chocolate, we had biscuits, we had s'mores. It was really good. We played a few fun games, obviously virtual distancing, best we could, and it was really successful. But more than that, it was lovely to see the Cubs and see everybody together again. Over the next couple of weeks, we're just going to have some fun. Eventually, we will expand that, as we always do, to fun, challenge, adventure, life skills, and opportunities. But what about you? What are you going to do? As a leader, are you thinking about planning out your sets over the next couple of weeks and months? As a beaver, cub, scout, explorer, what are you going to do? Have you start looking at the badges again? Obviously, you might have achieved some over the last year, but it's now really time to catch up again. The whole point of this is that seeing as there's no such thing as normal, you have got to think about what you can do rather than what you can't do. And to do that, the answer is you've got to be the best that you can be. Always in scouting, do your best. And so that's what you've got to do. Now, on your journey, you've got to think about what boat you're in. So I will ask you again, what boat are you in? If you are in a rowing boat, then row faster, row strong. Think about that. If you're in a sailing boat, you've got to think about how to adjust those sails, to catch that wind, to change and adapt and adopt, to get you through the storm. If you're working with a team, work with the team, work out what skills everybody's got in that boat. If you're on an ocean line and the things are good, well, good for you. I'm pleased. but who can you help? Maybe you're the ones that can help some of the ones that are struggling, whether that's different scouts, different leaders, or different groups, or maybe even different districts. Just have a think about what you can do rather than what you can't do. Because on your journey, there's going to be many times when you feel like you failed. You've got to understand there's no such thing as failure. There's going to be times when you feel that you can't control what's going on outside you. And I think a lot of us feel like that. Like the storm. You can't control the storm, but you can control how you react to the storm. There's going to be many times when there's going to be barriers. There's going to be excuses in front of you. You've definitely got to see those barriers as excuses. And to get through them, you've got to smash through them by turning those excuses into challenges. But most importantly, the main thing you've got to do, and you'll get this from scouting, is to always be the best that you can be. Because I believe that if every single one of you does that, then every one of you will succeed, whatever that is that you want. Thank you very much for having me on your event today to celebrate St. George's Day. It's been an absolute delight to be here. Hopefully in the future I will get to see everybody again, maybe next year or sometime in the future, and maybe I'll get another necker, or maybe I'll give you one of mine, I don't know. But it'd been really nice to be here. I'm going to pass back to the DC now. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. Thanks, Steve. And I'm sure everybody can understand how when we heard Steve speak, and it was in 2016, sorry Steve, not 17, when we heard Steve speak, he's just a hugely inspiration. His story is a huge inspiration, and I think, you know, that analogy of what boat are you in, I think is a really good one for us to all think about. It's got me thinking about what boat I'm in. I'm not quite sure, compared to, certainly in terms of presenting, I'm a kind of probably in a canoe compared to Steve in a powerboat, but you know, we'll all do our best there. So, and a huge thanks, Steve, and it's really great to have you on. And it's great in some ways. Whilst we miss not being able to be face to face with people, equally we can do an event with someone who's up in Derbyshire coming to speak to us today. So that's been a real opportunity, and thank you. And as I say, hopefully we will get to meet again face to face in the future. So now we're going to move on to the next part of the afternoon, which is our renewal of promise. So St. George's Day is a significant day in the scouting calendar. Baden-Powell chose St. George as the patron saint of scouting, and it's when everybody in the movement globally comes together to renew our promise that we all made when we joined scouting, and we recognise achievement and service to the movement and to others. And we renew our commitment to the values that scouting represents and to the values we committed ourselves to when we joined. So we do that section by section. So we're going to start with the beavers, then the cubs, and then the scouts and other sections. Now, we will be using the Christian version of the promise. There are other versions of the promise for other faiths or those of no faith, so please use the version of the promise that you're comfortable with saying yourself. You can find the alternative words on the Scout Association website. But now I'm going to hand over to Bryony, our ADC Beavers.
Good afternoon, I'm Bryony, the ADC Beavers. If you are a beaver of Sutton District, please could you come to attention and then raise your right hand and make the scout sign. Bronwyn is going to very carefully read us out the beaver promise, so please try and say it along with her or just after her.
I promise to do my best, to be kind and helpful, and to love my God.
Thank you very much, Bronwyn. Back to Matt.
Hi there. Thank you very much, Bryony, and thank you, Bronwyn. Well done. And now we're going to move on to the cub section. So that's the second of our promise renewals this afternoon. And the cub section have both a promise and a law. So we're going to start with the promise, and then we will go on to we start with the law, and then we'll go on to the promise. So I'm going to hand over to Sean, the ADC Cubs.
Hi Cubs, I hope you're all tuning in or watching later. We're going to start with the law, which Louis is going to kindly remind us of.
Cub Scouts always do their best, think of others before themselves, and do a good job and have a good turn every day.
That was great, thank you. Right, Cubs, if you can come to the attention. and make the Scout sign with your right hand. And now we're going to say the promise together. I promise that I will do my best to do my duty to God and the Queen, to help other people, and to keep the Cub Scout law. Thank you.
Thank you, Sian. Thank you, Louis. Well done, everyone. Right, so now we're going to move across to the Scout section. And the Scout law and the Scout promise are the same as those for all the other sections. So this applies to Scouts, Explorers, Network, and all adult leaders. So firstly, I'm going to hand across to Charlotte, who's going to read us the Scout law.
A Scout is to be trusted. A Scout is loyal. A Scout is friendly and considerate. A Scout belongs to the worldwide family of Scouts. A Scout has courage in all difficulties. A Scout makes good use of time and is careful of possessions and property. A Scout has self-respect and respect for others.
Fantastic. Thank you, Charlotte. Right, now if I could ask all other members of the movement to come to the attention and to make the Scouts sign and repeat after me. On my honour, I promise that I will do my best to do my duty to God and to the Queen, to help other people and to keep the Scout law. Right. That concludes the promise renewal, so thank you everybody for that, and thank you to those of you who've been doing that at home. If you're leaders in the district and you've got section meetings coming up, hopefully you've got some face-to-face meetings coming up shortly, I would ask you to please do the renewal ceremony with your units when you meet up again. So we're almost at the end of what we had to do this afternoon. But finally, I just really want to recognise some of the achievements of both young people and adults in the district over the last year. As I said at the outset, it's been an extraordinary year. It's been, frankly, a year like no other that I don't think any of us could have expected. And frankly, if you did expect it, then why didn't you tell me? Because I could put some money on it. But it's been a very strange year, and we're hopefully now coming out of it. But in dealing with that strange year, there's been a huge number of people that have done extraordinary things across the last 12 months. Whilst we couldn't meet face to face, we've had virtually every group and virtually every section in the district has done something, whether it's been meeting on Zoom, whether it's been sending out challenges, whether it's been meeting up virtually to actually keep the sort of scouting family going. And young people have been achieving wonderful things during the lockdown period when they haven't been able to meet face to face. So there's been lots of activity ongoing and lots of things that people have been doing. So, I'm really proud of everybody in the district who's really, kept going and not given in, as Steve talked about. You have to keep going and we have to do our best. What I want to recognise first is, so the 4 sections, in fact, have the Chief Scout Award. So it's bronze for the Beavers, silver for the Cubs, gold for Scouts and platinum for Explorers. And we had, across the district in the last 12 months, we had 55 bronzes, 64 silvers and 8 golds, which is a huge achievement for those young people that are achieving that. So we're just going to bring up on the screen the names of some of the groups have given the names of the young people who've achieved that in their individual sections. This isn't everybody who's done it, it's just the names that we had. So the Chief Scout Bronze Award, so let's just read out some of the names there. 1st 16th Sutton, Anya, Ophelia, Nathan, Nirav. 3rd Carshalton, Callum, Flora, Isabel, Jack, Joseph, Joshua, Maya, Nathan, Orpheus, Ray, Samuel and Theo. And 14th Wallington, Eli, Harrison, Joshua, Jack, Logan, Oscar, Ricky, Sam, Thomas. As I say, that's not everybody across the district, but there's just some of the names that we've got of those who've achieved the Bronze Award. And then if we move on to the Cubs section, the Silver Award, Louis from 1st Wallington, Casper, Dia, Jay, Josephine, Kyra, Louis and Michaela from 1st 16th Sutton, Jacob, Oliver and Zaki from 3rd Carshalton, Daniel from 5th Carshalton, Jack and Ollie from 5th Carshalton, Harry, Mickey and Sam from 5th Sutton, Ethan, Jack and Rafe from 9th Carshalton, Austin, Charlie, Jack, Thomas and Will from 14th Wallington. Again, huge congratulations to everybody, and many more who've also achieved this that aren't on the screen. And then if we move on to the Scout section, the Gold Award, Andrew, Harry, Jack and Josh from 1st Wallington, Katie from 1st North Wallington, Amelia from 4th Worcester Park, Jack, Joseph and Ned from 9th Carshalton, and Fraser from 14th Wallington. And again, huge congratulations to all of you. So a huge amount has been achieved by our young people, even while we haven't been able to do face-to-face. And I would encourage all of you to strive to get those Chief Scout Awards. It's a real achievement that you can take forward. Now I want to move on to some other awards that have been achieved within the district. And firstly, I'm hugely proud to be able to say we had a Chief Scout Award within the district this year. So Robert Lowe from 1st 16th Sutton achieved his Queen Scout Award. It is actually being presented this Tuesday evening, and I hope to be there. The Queen Scout Award isn't achieved by very many people. There's a huge amount of commitment that goes into it and a huge amount that you have to do. And in Robert's case, he got to the stage where he'd almost finished it last year, and then we're suddenly in lockdown, and one of the things you have to do is a presentation to kind of wrap it up. So Robert was brave enough to do that presentation over Zoom in front of actually quite a lot of reasonably senior people so we had the county commissioner, we had me, we had a number of other people from the county. So that was a huge achievement for Robert, and huge congratulations. And I really encourage people to, if you've been in the movement all the way through as a young person, do think about staying on and doing your Queen Scout Award. You can achieve it up to the age of 25. So congratulations, Robert, and hugely proud of you. Now I want to move on to some adult awards. Now we have a whole series of awards that adults earn from their commitment to scouting, and these are not given lightly. These are given to people who've given a huge amount of their time and service to scouting for many years. The two highest achievers in the last year in the district were Lynn Williams and Susan Peake. Now, Lynn is our district training manager, but she does a huge amount besides that, and Susan is my deputy district commissioner, without whom, frankly, I just couldn't keep the district going. They were both awarded the Bar to the Silver Acorn, and the Bar to the Silver Acorn requires a huge amount of commitment over huge numbers of years to scouting. So it's a real achievement, and is something of which I'm very proud of them, and I'm very grateful to them for everything they've done. We then had one person awarded the Silver Acorn this year, so Leslie Button. So Leslie used to be the ADC Scouts, has put a huge commitment into scouting over many years, including having been part of the service crew, I think, at 4 World Scout Jamborees. So again, Leslie, congratulations, and a huge amount of commitment over, again, very many years. And then if we move on to the Bar to the Award for Merit, so the way the bars work is if you get awarded one of the awards, so the award for merit in this case, and then after further 5 years of committed and excellent service, you go up onto the bar. So Claire had already been awarded the award for merit and has now been awarded the Bar to the Award for Merit. So again, congratulations and huge thanks from me. And then the award for merit was awarded this year to Caitlin Coleman, John Davey, Graham Devine, Susan Dunbar, Mark Gribble, David Peters, Elaine Price and Mike Smith. And again, huge commitment over a number of years from all of these leaders to scouting to achieve that award. And then finally, the Chief Scout Commendation, which has been awarded this year to Benici Morin and Julia Worrell. And again, huge, excellent service to scouting over a number of years to achieve that. So, a huge amount of work goes into scouting from a huge number of adults across the district, and whilst we've called out a few people individually there who've received awards, everybody in the district has my profound thanks for everything you do for our young people. It is a huge commitment being a scout leader, it's a huge commitment being involved in scouting, and I say I'm hugely grateful to all of you, and really just looking forward to the fact that we can meet up face to face again, and we can actually get out there, enjoy the sun, enjoy the summer, and spend time with our young people and really help them achieve and really help them have fun, have adventure and have challenge, which is what we're about in scouting. So my huge thanks, and I say I'm hugely looking forward to being able to get out and about in the district to see lots of you soon, and we're going to have a tremendous next 12 months, I'm sure. So that ends what we came to do this afternoon, and thank you for your time, thank you for your attention, thank you for listening to me drone on again. Huge thanks for this afternoon. Last year we did this on Zoom, I think from sort of several people's houses because we couldn't even meet up. We're actually in a hall this afternoon, so thanks to First Wallington, for allowing us to use their hall. Huge thanks to those who've come on camera with me, and a massive thanks to David Piercy and Chris Vickers. This frankly looks like an almost professional TV set in here, the amount of equipment Chris has brought in. But huge thanks to them for putting this on, and hopefully the experience you've had at home with it has been fantastic. If you've enjoyed it, tweet it, link it on Facebook, get it out there and tell people about it so that we can get more people looking at it and more people renewing their promise as we go. So thank you for your time this afternoon and hope to see you all soon. Cheers. Bye.
What made me? What gave me the strength to recover from a catastrophic parachute fail?
Who helped me to remember to enjoy myself?
What helped me become the first Black Briton to walk to the magnetic North Pole?
What made me a double Olympic champion, winning Britain's first ever Olympic gold in women's rowing?
Gave me the skills to spend 2.5 years walking the length of the Amazon after being told it was impossible.
When I've swum alongside great white sharks and crocodiles, or held the world's most venomous creatures in the palm of my hand.
Who gave me the courage to stay calm in life or death scenarios?
What helped me cope with the pressure, with the expectation?
Who picked me up in my darkest moments when I fell out of love with my sport?
And who was there for me when I struggled with my own mental health?
Who helped me believe in myself?
Convinced me not to quit, but to get back up again.
To face those who said, this ain't for you, but do it anyway. And what motivated me to give back?
To find a purpose and to speak up for young people.
When I was knee-high, my dad put me on a path that would change the course of my life. He took me to a place where I learned the skills that I use on every expedition.
From the depths of the jungle to the soaring peaks of the Himalaya.
From a body brace to the summit of Everest.
From the streets of Hackney to the ends of the earth.
What made me?
What made me?
What made me?
Scouts. Scouts made me.